Hey, Divine Ones, it's Jerome Braggs, healer and self-love coach, and I'm coming to you again for another Facebook Live to answer another one of your questions. I know I told you in the last video that I had a lot of questions from you all. I've been receiving a lot, and that I wanted to do a little bit more videos to kind of respond to these questions so that we can interact more, and this is another one of those videos. So today's question comes from Hassan Sardine. I hope I'm saying your name correctly, Hassan. I'm sorry, Haras Sardines. I'm already not saying it correctly, but I hope that pronunciation is correct. And the question that Haras has is, how do you feel that well, healthy vibration if the state of disease is all you've known since birth? How do you get out of the sick vibration? This is a really, really good question, and I know many of you all, especially those of you all who are experiencing disease or illness, and if you've been experiencing it, if it's been chronic and you've been experiencing it for a very long time, it could be very hard to understand how to embody the vibration of wellness because you've known the vibration of illness for so long. And so, for my own journey, when I was diagnosed with, if you all know my story, I was diagnosed with AIDS and kidney failure and given 7 days to live in 2004. And healed myself from that, but then again was right back with the same diagnosis a year and a half later, and was told and had a near-death experience the second time where I was told by God or source or the divine or whatever you want to call it, the key to true healing and well-being was to learn how to love myself. And that kind of started this whole multi-year journey where I really learned what loving ourselves really is and how it is the key to healing anything in our lives and transforming our lives into something really delicious. And what I understood, what I learned in my journey after my near-death experience was one, that the diseases that I was experiencing were a reflection of the vibration that I had been holding. And vibration, again, what vibration is it's the energetic frequency that we emit that's caused by how we emotionally feel, mostly habitually, right? How we chronically emotionally feel and the beliefs that we hold that make us feel certain ways. So for example, HIV and AIDS for me was a reflection of all the shame and the fear that I had been feeling for a long time. And you can figure out what the disease, what the vibration is at the root cause of the illness or the disease by really asking yourself and taking some time, like with pen and paper, and asking yourself, how does this illness, the experience of this illness, how does it make me feel? Right. And so for me, HIV and AIDS made me feel ugly. It made me feel unattractive. It made me feel unlovable. It made me feel ashamed. And it made me feel scared. I was afraid that I was going to die early. I was afraid that people, there was something wrong with me. I was afraid that people would withhold their love from me if they knew about it. I was afraid. And when I looked at that, and that's how it made me feel, that's how I had grown. That's how I had been feeling all of my life. Ever since I was a small kid, ever since I can remember, I felt ashamed of my body. I felt like I was too big, and because I was bigger than the other kids, I was unlovable and unattractive. And I felt afraid because I realized that I was attracted to the same gender when I was 5 years old. And I knew that just it was in the air, it was in the energy that my culture, my family, the place that I lived, that was not okay. And that was looked at as something wrong with me. So I hid it. I hid that for most of my life. And so I grew up ever since I can remember, right? Ever since I was probably 4 years old, I grew up feeling ashamed and afraid. And that was the vibration that led to the manifestation of this disease for me, because vibration determines the situation. It determines your reality. It determines your lived reality. It doesn't just determine the experiences of your life, but it also determines the health state of your body. All the experiences for your life must reflect and match the vibration that you're holding, meaning what you habitually feel about yourself and the world around you. And the health state of your body must reflect that. So again, I felt for the majority of my life ashamed of my body, like something was wrong with it, that I was unlovable and unattractive, and I was afraid. And so I manifested a disease that reflected that, right? And kidney failure was also a manifestation of, so when I looked at kidney failure and again asked how the experience of kidney failure made me feel, it made me feel drained. It made me feel really depleted and drained, like literally, right? I energetically and physically felt drained. And if you even look at the experience of being on kidney failure, because I was on dialysis, the experience of it was literally they were draining the blood out of my body to clean it and putting it back in. But they were literally draining the blood, which is the physical life force, right? It's the physical life force of myself was being drained outside of me. And if that's not a perfect reflection for how I was living my life, which was draining the energetic life force, I was living a life where I was always felt depleted. I was always trying to be nice, and I was giving more of my energy than what was coming back in. I wasn't really living a life of joy, and I was always overwhelmed and stressed and suppressed and just living a life that drained the life force out of me, right? So when I'd had to go on my healing journey, I really didn't know what the opposite of living like that was. I didn't know how to live. I didn't know what it would look like or it felt like to have an opposite vibration outside of shame and fear, which so healing basically is the game of opposites, is experiencing the opposite vibration than the vibration that has caused the challenge or the illness in the body. So for me, my healing journey was about experience, instead of shame and fear, experiencing a state of ease and trust and pride and love for myself, right? And then for kidney failure, it was, instead of living a life that drained me, being charged, like feeling charged and energized by my life and my being. And so I had to learn how to do that. Now, if that's not something you've known how to do, right, that can be a challenge. It can take a while for you to understand what that is. But the first step to that really is to stop doing the thing that's causing the vibration of the illness. So if you understand, once you kind of get into what's the root cause of this, right? It may be shame for you. It may be fear. It's probably always the root cause of an illness is some kind of degree of fear and the different manifestation of fear, right? Shame is a manifestation of fear. Resentment is a manifestation of fear. Overwhelm and stress are manifestations of fear in some type of way, but it has something to do with fear. But let's just say it's resentment, or let's just say you feel like you don't matter, or let's say you're being drained, or whatever that is, right? The healing path is going to begin to embody the opposite vibration more habitually, right? So more frequently. What I mean by habitually is it's not that you just offer this vibration for a few hours and this is what causes the dysfunction or the disease in your life. It doesn't work like that, because your natural way of being is well-being. So, your natural way of being is well-being. So, sorry if you all hear this train. I don't live too far from a train. So if you hear a train in the background, that's what's going on. It's passing, so it'll pass here pretty soon. But in order to experience, the vibration is not just what happens, what you're offering for a few minutes a day or whatever. It's something you feel continually, right? So it's something you feel predominantly. It's your predominant way of moving through the world, right? So my predominant way of moving through the world was feeling ashamed of myself and feeling afraid and living a life that was constantly draining me. So in order to heal, you have to experience the opposite of that. Again, so for me, that was feeling, instead of feeling ashamed, feeling a sense of love and appreciation. Instead of being afraid, feeling a sense of trust and safety, and feeling a sense of being charged, right? So if you don't know, if I like, the first thing that I didn't know what feeling really appreciative and loved of myself really was, but my first step was to stop feeling ashamed. right? To stop doing the things that made me feel ashamed, which was stop judging myself, stop always picking and criticizing my body, stop having negative self-talk about my body, stop engaging in deprecation and things like that with other people, stop hanging around with people and in situations that made me feel bad about myself. Stop putting myself in situations that made me feel worse about my body or worse about myself or made me feel like something was wrong with me, right? If you will just stop doing those things, right? So let's say the cause of your illness may be resentment. For a lot of cancers, a lot of cancers are caused by a lot of resentment, a lot of anger that's not been addressed or resolved. So stop, work on, stop being angry. Stop doing the things that make you angry, which is a lot of times, right? Which is speaking up for yourself and stop doing things you don't want to do and stop letting people walk over your boundaries and all of that type of stuff, right? But it's to stop. That's the first step. To stop doing whatever it is that's making you feel the way that's making you sick, right? To stop doing whatever's feeding the energy behind the illness, right? And then the other portion of this is, even if you don't know how to shift the vibration into loving or you matter or whatever that is, if you will just focus on this very thing, this will dramatically enhance, increase, and heal your body. And that is just focus on charging your life force energy. Your life force energy is literally your lifeline to God. Literally the lifeline to God energy. It's the energy of your soul. And your body needs more of the energy of your soul to be inside of it in order to stay well. Life force energy is literally the determining factor for the health of your body. When you have a lot of it and it is high and it is charged up, your body must be well and it must heal. When you don't, when it's depleted for some reason or is drained for some reason, and you continue to do that, every time you drain your life force energy, you're literally draining health out of your body. So even if you don't understand, how to shift out of that vibration that caused illness, make your focus just on increasing and charging your life force energy. And what charges your life force energy, and I'm going to do a whole video on what life force energy is and what drains it and what charges it later. But just very simply, what charges life force energy is everything related to love and joy. Everything related to love and joy, basically everything that makes you feel good emotionally, physically, and energetically, right? So basically go spend more time with people you love, people that make you feel uplifted, that you have fun with, that you love to be around. Do more things that feel like fun for you, that make you laugh. Have a sense of community. If you feel lonely, heal your sense of loneliness. Who do you need to be around? How do you, spend more time with your friends or get more friends or whatever you need to do to heal that sense of loneliness. Deal with and stop beating up on yourself. Give yourself a break so you can stop feeling so much shame in your body and start to feel more appreciation and acceptance. Do your passions. What are you passionate about? Like, what type of work are you passionate about? If you're doing some work that you're not passionate about, that stresses you out, that you really don't look forward to getting up on Monday mornings to go to work, you don't enjoy who you work with, it may be time for you to leave that situation, right? Because that's draining life force energy from you. Start to do work that you enjoy. Start to do things that you're passionate about. Like, I like to sing, I like to dance, I like to write. I love doing these videos where I get to speak to you all and teach different things. So doing these type of things charges my life force energy and it reconnects me to the energy of joy, which basically, again, your life force energy is literally the energy of your soul. It's the energy of God. And that energy is love and joy energy. So the more you get connected to love and joy, the more you bring the energy of God into your body. And your body cannot be charged with the energy of God and be sick at the same time. It's impossible. The more energy you get in, the healthier you're going to become. And if you just focus on that, like What do I love? What makes me feel loved? What makes me feel. One second. Sorry, guys, I forgot to turn off my phone. It makes you feel. What makes you feel loved? What makes you feel happy and joyous? What do you enjoy doing? What are like walking in nature, spending times with your friends, doing work that you love, doing things you're passionate about. Like I like swimming, I like writing, I like watching funny things on television. Like every day. Every single day, you've got to do things that make you feel loved, that make you feel joyous. Every day, make that the predominant focus of your day. How do I feel more loved and how do I feel more joy today? And if you will do that and stop doing the things that don't make you feel loved and don't make you feel joy, you'll find that your life force energy raises, and that will begin to aid in your healing more than anything else, more than any diet you can do, more than any exercise program that you can do, more than any medicine that you can take. And I'm not saying don't take these things. I'm not saying don't use those things to support you. I'm all for them if they work for you and they're supporting you. But what I'm saying is the root cause of your wellness and the root cause of your illness really is life force energy. Either getting more life force in your body increases and enhances your wellness. And when you do things that take it out of your body, that drain it and deplete it from you, that's when illness comes in, right? And that's when it's sustained. So even if you don't know how to shift the vibration, that's literally what's shifting your vibration. Charging your life force energy raises your vibration. It raises your frequency to the level of wellness. And that's all you really have to know. So first, stop doing the things that are draining the life force energy from you, that are making you feel like, the vibration that caused the illness in the first place, whether that's shame or fear or resentment or all the other things that could do that. Sadness, increased and chronic sadness, loneliness, for habitual loneliness could drain the life force energy and make you feel sick. So look at, stop doing that. Stop doing the things that make you feel lonely, instead of, if you're not in a place where, that was something I think I did a video recently, and I'm going to do some more videos about this, but that was something I had to address in my own life, was understanding that I felt lonely, that I was not, I was in a chapter in my life where I was not living close to my friends. My friends lived on the opposite side of the country and I didn't see them often. And I was feeling very lonely. In the place where I did live, I didn't have many friends. And I'm a very communal and tribal person. I like to hang out with people I love a lot. I like to see them a lot. So that meant I had to begin to up my travel game, right? I had to travel at least once a month and have to stay for elongated periods of time. And then I was looking at moving now to places where my friends were, because that was very important for my wellness. That charges my life force energy, and not doing it drains it. So look at, again, what's the cause root of what your illness is. Look at your illness, whatever it is, whatever the illness or disease is that you've experienced, no matter how long you've experienced it. Get a pen and paper out, right? Get you a piece of paper and a pen. Sit down and write, how does this make me feel? How does the experience of this illness make me feel? Does it make me feel sad? Does it make me feel scared? Does it make me feel drained? Does it make me feel ashamed? Does it make me feel unattractive? Does it make me feel mad and frustrated? Does it make me feel resentful? Like, whatever it is, right? No judgment. Just get this out and see what that is. And that's guidance. That is literal guidance, because the illness is not there as a punishment. It is there as an indicator to show you what vibration you've been holding that's been draining life force energy out of you, and to help you begin to take the journey back home to the frequency of yourself that causes wellness. Because your natural frequency is high. The natural frequency of everybody, the natural vibration of the soul, is a very high vibration. But we've just been culturally conditioned and sometimes traumatized out of that frequency, and we stay away from that frequency for so long that it begins to drain the life force energy out of us, and we develop dysfunctions in our life, and we develop illnesses and diseases in our bodies. and they're not punishments, and they don't have to stay forever. It's an indicator and an invitation to make a U-turn, a YO U-turn, back to the natural self of you, back to a self that is charged, right? That is living a life of joy and love, and in a way that where you're loving yourself, where you're living and loving yourself really at the basis of it. It's about living a life that charges you instead of drains you, and having thought, but beliefs and feelings about yourself that are not based in shame and fear, but they're based in love and acceptance and trust. So that's basically it. I hope I answered your question, Haras, about, how do you shift out of the vibration of illness? The vibration of illness is going to be something that is not going to be a loving vibration. It's not going to feel good. It's going to be something that makes you feel frustrated or ashamed or fearful or tired or something like that most of the time. And you just wanna begin to do what charges your energy, and you're gonna find as you charge your life force, your vibration is going to raise. You're gonna feel happier. You're gonna feel better. You're gonna feel better about yourself, and that is the energy that heals. So until next time, you guys, I'll be coming back. Probably again, I'll do another video, I think this Tuesday, because I got a lot of questions from you all to answer. But I'll come back this Tuesday. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear a comment. I'd love for you to hear what resonated with you. Leave me a comment under this video. And if you have other questions about anything, leave them in the comments under this video. I'll be answering them for the rest of the year through live videos like this. So until next time, you guys, I love you. Much love.